In this video, we are going to be talking about, do you need a business entity set up in order to start Amazon KDP? Now, for all of you guys out there who are considering starting this business, but you don't know the answer to this question, please watch this video first because I have been through all of this for many years now. So I'm just going to give you the quick, clean advice that you really need on this topic. All right, guys, without further ado, let's get straight into this video. So when it comes to Amazon KDP, the short answer here is that no, you do not need to have any kind of business entity set up in order to start being an Amazon KDP seller. Now, further, I'll even say that as you start to grow this Amazon KDP business and your income starts to increase, you still do not need to set up a business entity. What is so cool about selling on Amazon is that they understand that most of us are starting this as a side hustle. So they don't require us to go through all of these steps to form a business just to get started as a seller. Now, that begs the question of why would someone set up a business entity to sell on Amazon KDP when you are not required to have one? So after years of having a business entity set up specifically for online business, I can say that the main advantage to having a business set up for this is that you're creating something separate from yourself. Now, the real noticeable improvements that you're going to get from doing this compared to just using your first and last name is that all of your proceeds or all the profits that Amazon pays out to you are all going to go into one place. This makes it much more organized, very easy to track. And then if you have any business expenses like virtual assistants, or if you're buying a computer or buying software, anything like that, you can deduct those against that income that you made. Now, I am very familiar with the process of setting up a business entity for online business. So in this video, I will walk you through the 5 steps that you really need to know to set up these business entities. And most importantly, I'm going to walk you through the specific order to do these steps in so that everything runs the smoothest. The last thing that I want to clarify that's probably going to help a lot of you guys out there is that when you are starting out with Amazon KDP, I would do everything just as an individual with your first and last name until you reach about $50,000 in profit per year. When you are in that $0 to $50,000 in profit per year, it is going to be the easiest and most efficient for you just to do this with your first and last name as an individual. All of the added benefits that come from having a business set up really kick into effect once you are past $50,000 per year in profit. So for those of you who are just starting an Amazon KDP account and it is not time to create a business entity yet, I will put a couple videos down in the description that are going to help out you guys. The first one is going to be how to set up your Amazon KDP account. It just walks you through every single step in the sign up process. And then the second one after that is once you have your account created, it is a full step-by-step tutorial on how to start growing your Amazon KDP account. So with that being said, let's get into these 5 steps to set up a business entity for Amazon KDP. So the first step here is the obvious step, and that is actually forming your business entity. But that brings the question of what kind of business entity should you be forming? Now, after a lot of experience with this, what I recommend for the vast majority of you guys out there is what's called a single member LLC. Now, the actual setup process for doing this is going to vary by which state you live in. So I can't say one thing here that's going to apply to all of you guys out there. However, what I can say is that the cost for setting up this business is typically going to cost somewhere from $100 to $200. That's going to be a very good average baseline. Now, I will say that there are kind of 3 ways that you can do this. The first way is kind of the DIY way. So you can look up in your state how to register a single member LLC. You can follow all of the instructions and you can pay your state directly. Now, the second way is you can use an online service to do this. They will essentially just walk you through a survey. You answer all the questions. They will do the filing for you. Now, just real quickly, I want to show you on my computer 2 options for doing this. This first one is called Registered Agents Incorporated. Just go to Services and go to Business Formation. And then it's going to give you some information on this page, but you really just want to click Start Your Business. And you can literally just scroll through all of this, filling out each box, saying which state you're in, and they will do the rest for you. Now, another option you have here is LegalZoom. This is one that I've used in the past. When you go to their business formation, just know that you don't need any of these crazy add-ons. You can do it just with their basic plan. And again, they are just going to try to simplify this process for you. Now, I will put links to both of these down in the description, just what links you directly to these business formation pages so you can find them easily. However, that brings us into kind of the third option that you have for setting up your business. The third option will be talking to your tax advisor. So if you already have a tax advisor in place for your taxes, they can typically walk you through this process and try to make it as easy as possible. Now, 2 more things to know about this topic before we move on to the next step here. The first thing is that once you do get your paperwork in and they approve your business, you are going to get what's called an EIN, which is an employer identification number. This again is one of the advantages to having a business set up is that you now have a unique identification number for your business. So you don't have to use your social security number anymore when you are selling on Amazon KDP or any other online business that requires it. And the last thing that I wish I knew earlier on on this topic, and just something that's going to be useful for you is that you can additionally register a DBA, which is doing business as. This is something like $50 to register with your state, but you are able to create an additional name. So let's say that the name of your business that you set up and you actually file as something specific. Well, if you want that business to be referred to as a different name, you can use a DBA to do that. So this is just a cool way that you can kind of get two official business names out of the same business that you've set up. Okay, so that is the first step, and no matter which route you go here, it's going to take a couple days to process. Now, once you've waited a couple days and you've heard back from the state and they have approved you, they've given you your EIN and you are ready to go, now it brings us into the second step. Now, what this step is to get a business address. Although this is going to cost you somewhere between $100 and $400 per year to have this active, it is so worth it. Essentially, when you go to your state and you set up a business, they make all of that information public. So on that information that anyone can look up, they can find all of the addresses associated with that business. So for all of you out there who like your privacy and don't want your home address to be publicly posted with your business, then you can get a business address for that business, which is going to keep that business, again, separate from yourself and keep your personal information private. Now, there are several ways to do this, but the easiest way is to get a P.O. box, which is a post office box, but you don't need to go to a post office to do this. In fact, it's a lot better to go to places other than the post office, because if you go to somewhere like a UPS store or a pack and ship store, a lot of these are allowed to use that P.O. box as a physical address, because someone can come in and open the door and they can walk into that place physically. Additionally, if you go to a UPS store or a pack and ship store to get a P.O. box at their location, they will also offer mail forwarding. If you get a mail forwarding feature, essentially what this is anytime that your business receives mail to that P.O. box, they will automatically forward that to your house or anywhere else that you want that forwarded, but the address of your house stays private. This is why the price goes from roughly $100 per year to $400 per year, because you can get additional features. Okay, so with those two steps out of the way, that brings us into the next very important step, and this is setting up a business checking account. Now, a couple really important things that I can share that I've learned about setting up business bank accounts is first that you can go to pretty much any bank out there and they will offer a business bank account. This can be anything from a local bank in your area that you've been banking with already to a nationwide bank that you want to use, or even an online based bank that you want to use. The important thing to know here is that when you are looking at banks, look at their monthly fees. Some of these banks have minimums that you have to keep in your business account. Otherwise, you are going to get hit with a fee every single month. This is a very important step that I'm just kind of passing over here, but I just want to make sure that you guys catch that to make sure that the banks are not going to charge you fees every single month. Now, I'm going to switch you over to the computer real quickly just to show another thing. A lot of these banks are going to have big bonuses to open up business accounts. There's always going to be little terms, like you have to spend a certain amount in order to get the full $500. But looking at other banks like American Express, they're going to give you 30,000 points. You just want to convert those points into dollars to see how much that is worth. And again, what are the little asterisks that you have to do in order to get those points? Now, I will say something like American Express, not everywhere accepts American Express. So if you are purchasing things for your business, American Express is not accepted everywhere. These are just things that I've learned from being in business so long over the years that I wish I knew right when I was starting out. And building off of that, kind of the last thing that I wish I knew is that when you do open up your business bank account, you can also get a business credit card. Now, the same thing applies here when it comes to looking at the fees for each one of these cards. So to give you some real examples here, this is American Express, and looking at their business credit cards, the first one here is $695 per year. That is just to have this card open. So if you keep scrolling down, this one's $375 per year just to have that card open. But you will get to a lot of these that are $0 per year. $0 per year. Those are the ones that you are likely going to be looking for. Now, the advantage to having a business credit card, in addition to just the debit card that comes with your free business bank account, is that anytime that you are purchasing something for the business, this can be computer equipment, this can be software, this can even be paying for freelancers or virtual assistants or buying advertising. All of that can go on your business credit card, and you are going to receive points from those purchases. Now, that is everything for setting up the business. Now it comes to actually maintaining the business. So at the end of the year, this brings us into the fourth step. This is actually filing your business's taxes. So just to give you the comparison here, when you were doing everything individually just with your first and last name, you just put all of the income that you were paid by Amazon KDP for that calendar year, you add it up to a total, and you just put it in other income on your taxes. Now, when it comes to paying your taxes with a single member LLC setup, the process again is very easy, but it is slightly different. So again, we are going to add up the total amount that we were paid for the year from Amazon KDP. This is going to be a lot easier because all of the payments are going to be in one bank account and none of your personal banking is mixed in with it. So all the numbers should be very easy to find and add up. And then you take that total and you're going to put that information on a form 1040 and a Schedule C. These are the two forms that you're going to use. You fill out both of those, and that is going to allow you to put how much money the business made for the year and allow you to deduct any expenses related to that business. Now, actually filing these taxes may be tricky the first time around for you, but once you've done it, it is going to get easier and easier for you. The two ways that you can do this, one is just to use online software for taxes. Everything is very straightforward, specifically with a single member LLC. The second way is to hire a tax advisor. These are professionals, and this is what they do every single day, and it takes a lot of the stress or you wondering what the answer to a specific question is off of your shoulders. Now, with that being said, that brings us into the last step that not many people talk about, and that is that every year you need to renew your LLC. Now, this is going to cost you roughly $100 to $200 depending on what state you are in, and that is a fee that you have to pay every single year in order to keep your LLC active. This is something that you are going to want to set in your reminders or on your calendar every year. Just set it for January 1st to renew your LLC. Now, for those of you who do use one of those online services to set up your LLC, like the Registered Agents Incorporated or LegalZoom, a lot of those websites do this renewal for you. So guys, all in all, when you add up all of these steps and the costs associated with them, it's going to cost you roughly $300 to set up that business entity, and then roughly $300 per year ongoing just to keep that business entity set up. So guys, I know that's a lot of nitty-gritty information on this, but hopefully that has been very helpful. If you have any specific questions, just remember I am not a tax advisor, but I can give you my best opinion or my experiences on it. Otherwise, I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please just give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments that you enjoyed it, and I will plan on seeing you guys all in the next video.